Copper Creek,
Grand Floridian,
Saratoga Springs,
Beach Club,
and Wilderness Lodge.
and you're listening to
my
Well, welcome home, everybody, to episode 35 of the Community Hall Podcast Live. And my name is Chad Pennycuff. I am the host of this show on normal occasions, but we have a special takeover tonight from a new show that we're launching called the Plus Platoon. And tonight they're doing a format that we're calling From the Vault. And From the Vault is we're going to go back in and look at some classic Disney movies from yesteryear from the Disney Plus Vault. And then we're going to reevaluate them with our 2021 eyes and just see how they look to us. And we'll talk about plot, movie. Did this thing age well? Did it not? All kinds of great retrospecting looking back. And I'm going to save the rest of this for the show tonight and for these guys. But I'm just here to kind of come back in, kick off the show, give them an intro, and do our ad read as well. So tonight's show is brought to you by our friends over at dvcresalemarket.com. If you are looking for a DVC contract, you can contact them and get that same level Disney expertise and that same high level of Disney customer service without having to pay the Disney price tag. dvcresalemarket.com. Ton of great agents on there. If you listen to either of my shows, you're going to get to know all of them. That is by design because we sneak them into the show every now and then just so everybody gets a chance to get to know them and we get to pick their brains and get former Disney Direct guides coming into our show. So that being said and done, I want to thank DVC Resale Market and World of Disney for all of their support for all of our platforms. And I'm going to welcome to the show today our good friend, Derrick. So Derrick, welcome back for Mouse Quiz. And we're looking forward to you transitioning over to this new venue and format here.
Yeah, it's really a lot of fun. We've, great group coming in with us and looking forward to talking Disney Plus.
Yeah. I know we've done a few Mouse Quiz rounds around this area here, but we're now going to transition from Mouse Quiz over to the Plus Platoon, and Derrick is our fearless leader. So I'm going to tell you guys welcome to that, and I'm going to just hand off the baton here and drop down, and I'm going to go back to the audience and take the night off, Derrick.
Okay, well, have a good evening, and talk to you later, Chad.
Okay, thanks. You guys have a great show. I'll be tuning in from the audience side.
Thanks, Chad. Okay, so yeah, as I said, my name is Derrick, and this is the Plus Platoon. We are a Disney Plus fan podcast who loves all things Disney Plus. We are here, we talk about current shows, we talk about upcoming shows, we're going to talk about shows from the vault, like the one today, and we got a great group of people to do it with us. So let me welcome in Kate. Kate, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing so well, Derrick. How are you?
I'm doing well, enjoying a lot more sunlight, so it's nice.
I feel that on a spiritual level. I feel that.
Okay. Let's also bring into the stream Rebecca. Rebecca, how are you this evening?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to get to talk about this movie. So
good. Okay. Got a good-sized group of us here. Next one we're going to bring in, also from DVC Newscast, is Peter. Pete, how you doing?
Hey, Derrick. Kate, Rebecca, how you doing?
Doing very good. And last tonight, but certainly not least, is Sam from DCL Duo.
Hey
Sam.
Everyone. Hey, Derrick. Hey, everyone. Good to see you all. Derrick, I'm excited that you are in an ice hockey arena right now. So we are ready.
Surprisingly warm in here, but yeah. So start tonight. And how we're going to start most nights is we've got a little bit of Disney Plus news. So Kate, what can you tell us?
Yes, Disney Plus news. Oh my gosh, everybody. So this past Friday, 2 awesome things dropped. We had Marvel Assembled, which basically was the behind the scenes from WandaVision. I hope all of you have seen WandaVision and you've loved it. I loved it. We all loved it. So Marvel Assembled, behind the scenes of WandaVision. The second thing was called Own the Room. Now, I personally am a big fan of the documentaries that are on Disney Plus. So Own the Room is a documentary style show. And it's students overcoming different obstacles and trying to get their ideas funded. I know Rebecca has watched it. She says it's phenomenal. I cannot wait to watch it. And then on March 19th, Falcon and Winter Soldier comes out. So exciting. But if you're sitting there saying, oh man, it's been a minute, I don't remember who that is. Don't worry, we've got you. If you need a brush up, Disney Plus has you covered. You can watch Legends, which is about a 7 to 8 minute recap of the character and their backstory and everything that goes into it. So if you need a recap on Falcon or Winter Soldier, or if you haven't watched WandaVision and you want to learn more about Vision and Wanda or everybody, sign in, tune in, check out Legends on Disney Plus. And that is Disney News.
Thanks, Kate. And so the main feature for us tonight is we're going into the Disney Vault. And we're going to go into the Disney Vault whenever there's not anything big and pressing coming out, and there's something we really want to go back and see how does it hold up. And tonight we are going back to the OG Mighty Ducks movie. Okay, so I'm guessing everyone on here, I hope everyone on here see it. So first question we're going to ask is, does the movie work for 2021? What still works? What needs changed? Rebecca, let's start with you. What your thoughts?
So this was actually the first time I'd ever seen this movie. It came out a couple of years before I was even born. And so it wasn't on my high list of Disney movies to watch from the beginning. And I think had I watched it when it was out and it was new, I probably would have been really enamored with the story and with the elements that they had in it. But because I've seen so many sports story movies and because of how much has changed in the past almost 30 years, I don't really think that it works now for 2021. If they did the same story, I would be like, oh, it's every other Disney sports movie story, you know? I was able to actually call the last scene as they were showing the introduction. I was like, oh, he's gonna coach them and they're gonna tie the game and he's gonna make the winning shot and that's gonna be like the end all of the whole story. To me, it was just really cheesy. It was still great. I think it was still a fun story to watch. And now that I'm glad that I've checked it off my list of things to have seen. But I think it worked well in the 90s and not so much now.
Okay. Well, before we jump to Pete, guys, we want your thoughts also. Please, do you guys think this is working in 2021? What do you guys think still works? What might not have quite working these days? So, Pete, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, and I'd wonder, is there anyone who has like special memories of this movie? Because for me, I guess I'm kind of the opposite. I'm older. I missed this movie because it came out when I was in my 20s and I wasn't really looking at Mighty Ducks movies when I was in my 20s. And I actually don't remember ever having seen it either as I watched it. It definitely felt very late 80s, early 90s from the style and the clothes and everything like that. I mean, it was very much an off the shelf, underdog sports movie. It was a fun little movie. I don't think I don't think I would rate it very highly. It was fine. There was nothing like offensive about it or anything that makes it like really weird to watch at this point. I think the weirdest thing to watch is they go to an NHL game and both the teams in the NHL game are no longer in the league, but the Mighty Ducks are in the league. So I thought that was kind of funny that the only team in that scene that actually plays NHL hockey is the Ducks. But other than that, I think I think as a kids movie, it holds up okay. I think, if you have kids that are into sports or things like that, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But as a movie that I would revisit, I don't think I would.
Okay. Sam, how about you? What are your thoughts?
So I want to first start out by saying that I was in the target audience when this movie came out. I was a preteen when this movie came out back in 1992. And so this movie was directed at my generation. And at the time, the audiences loved it and the critics panned it. And the reason the critics panned it is exactly kind of what Rebecca said, which is it is a super predictable Disney sports movie. That being said, I still think it's a lot of fun. We watched it over this weekend. Brian and I, my other half from the DCL duo, along with our 7-year-old, and he loved it. The 7-year-old, I mean, and we enjoyed it. And I thought the story held up. There were a couple of racial references in the story, a couple of racial insults that were totally, I think, inappropriate, that were used at the time, that today are not acceptable. They're not, like banned words or anything like that, but they were still, not okay. But that's sort of emblematic of the time. It's a different time, 1992 versus 2021. But I think as the storyline holds up well, it's just a fun family Disney movie. But I would also say none of us at this age are in the target audience of the movie right now either. So I would say for the kid crowd, the preteen crowd, it's a fun movie. Your parents will watch it with you. And so enjoy it. But it's probably not for the 20s, 30s, 40s, or even 50s.
And the only counterpoint I would give to you on that is if you are in the 40s and you were 12 when this came out. Right. Yeah. I mean, you say the flying V to anybody in our generation, oh my gosh, we're all back to the Mighty Ducks.
We're like quack, quack,
yeah, quack,
quack.
Quack. Yeah. That is, you can say that anywhere to a crowd of 30 and 40-year-olds. Most of them are going to know what you're talking about. That being said, I would argue that yes, this does still work in 2021 for its target audience, for the teenage, the preteen boys and the early teenage boys who are in the same target audience as The Sandlot and that group. This still works. Yes, there's a couple lines that probably shouldn't have been said, but I would argue this movie's, for the target audience, it's great. And I would say it also works for parents because we'll watch it with the kids. This is one of those that we can watch with the kids and go, okay, yeah, I'll watch that with you. Mm-hmm. So, Kate, thoughts?
I love this movie. I was 4 or 5 when this movie came out. So I had it on VHS. The Sandlot was the first movie I ever saw in theaters. Okay. And it's so reminiscent. So many of the characters doubled in that movie. Mm-hmm. And I loved it. There was only one part where I was like, ooh, I don't know if we could get away with that today. And it's where they like tie the goalie up and they all hit pucks at him. And I was like, I don't know. Oh, this is like a lot. But there were so many things that I just forgot how much I loved this movie. I'm a big fan, but I love it because I grew up with it. So I don't know. It's hard for me to say like, oh, I don't know if this works in 2020 because I love it so much because it is nostalgic from my childhood. So,
okay. So that kind of leads us into, and let's actually go look at some of the crowd comments. A lot of them are, very much quacking.
Yes. Yes, Lauren.
Gina says, movie was great for its time. Not so much now. Again, I would argue it depends on whose eyes you're looking at it through. Yeah. Whether you're looking at it through, a 7-year-old's eyes or a 37-year-old's eyes. Mm-hmm. Okay? Lauren says movie's perfection. It was a staple of her childhood. Definitely. All of us, still, if the Mighty Ducks are in the playoffs, some level of ourselves is going to be rooting for them, just because they did base the Mighty Ducks on the movie. They were originally owned by Disney. So, and with that leads right into our next question. Is this a Disney movie? Okay. And you can, this is, again, bring your own take to it. What do you consider a Disney movie? And does this qualify? And again, please, we need the audience interactions. Audience, what do you guys think? Is this a Disney movie? Okay. Pete, what you thinking on this? Do you think it's a Disney movie?
Definitely. I think it's a Disney movie. I mean, to me, a Disney movie is a family movie. It's a movie that you can watch with your kids and you can still enjoy it. As I said, I didn't think it was a great movie, but we watched it with our 17-year-old and she was like, but I think with younger kids, it you know, and I'll say age 7 to probably 12 or 13, they would really enjoy this movie. And I think watching it as parents, you're not bored by it, which, you know, there's a lot of kids movies that are pretty awful. So I think this is an enjoyable movie. I mean, even though I said I wouldn't jump and watch it again, we liked it enough that we're kind of thinking, oh, maybe we'll watch D2 and see what happens in the next one, even though you kind of know what's going to they're written predictable enough. I think I kind of know what happens in the next one, but yeah, it was, I definitely think it's a Disney movie. It feels like almost like those older, you know, teen Disney movies too. And, you know, those sports movies that they do, underdog sports movies that they do so well.
Sam,
how
thoughts?
about?
Yeah. I have to 100% agree with Pete here. This is a quintessential Disney sports movie. We've seen The Rookie, we've seen Miracle, we've seen Angels in the Outfield. This is what, you know, Disney for live action movies, in my opinion, this is the kind of live action movie that Disney does best. A feel good underdog sports movie. And it's just right in their sweet spot. Yeah. What are you thinking about?
I would say yes, with a caveat that in all of the other Disney sports movies, I felt there was more, I don't know if we want to call it a deeper story on the change of the main person who has to change. I'm thinking Remember the Titans. I'm thinking, because with Gordon Bombay, you almost get the feeling that, yes, he's changed, kind of. Okay. It's, you know, it's easy to change and not think about going for the win all the time when you're winning. Okay. So I would say, yes, it's a Disney movie in that, you know what's going to happen. You know they're going to win. I just wish from most Disney sports movies, there was a deeper Cool Runnings where the coach and the team actually, you know, there's that moment of, you know, are you going to change or not? Okay. And I didn't really, I mean, yes, there's the scene in Ducksworth's office where he, you know, says, no, I can't drop my suit, but it just didn't have the deepness for me. So, Kate, is it a Disney movie?
You all literally took all the words out of my mouth. I think, yes, it is. Is it predictable? Absolutely. Is it an underdog story? Absolutely. Do you watch it with your family and everybody enjoys it? Yes. To me, some movies aren't predictable. This one was. I just love this movie and I love Disney movies. So yeah, I think so. And you mentioned Cool Runnings, which is such a good movie as well. And that one isn't predictable. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but I totally think absolutely it is.
Okay. Rebecca?
You're up, Rebecca.
I would say I agree with more so Derrick than anybody else that has said something, only because yes, it's a Disney movie first and foremost, but it's a Disney movie for when it came out, not for right now. So now, like you were saying, Derrick, we look for more of a deeper meaning behind the story and behind the main character. So towards the end, me and Willie were talking about how this also could have gone, oh, well, they lose, but the coach is still happy that they had a good time and he learned his lesson that way of to not be his former coach, you know? And so that's where I think Disney movies are leaning towards more nowadays. So it's a Disney movie for its time because it still fell in with that predictability and that, you know, the good guy wins at the end. But now I could have also seen it gone the other way, where they didn't win the game and he still learned his lesson and still changed for the better. And I think that's where more Disney movies are falling now. So
yeah, it to me would have been a deeper movie if Charlie clanks off the post and Bombay reacts totally different than his coach did.
Exactly.
And then maybe they go on to win it in overtime. But that moment of clank off the post, Charlie, you know what? It's okay. You're still a great player. And then they move on. I think that's how they would have filmed it in 2021.
And I feel like they kind of did that because right before he even went to take the shot, they had that parallel of like, you're still a great player and I'll still be proud of you no matter what. But I feel like he should have shanked it.
And Gina says, absolutely still a Disney movie. Yeah. Lauren says, yes, because of the positive message. Yeah, definitely a positive message on this one. Chris says, Disney movie has a teaching moment that most Disney movies have. Yeah. I mean, the teaching moment. And I would say there's a couple in this. I would say combination of them in the office when, no, I'm not going to give it up. And at the end. So I would say there's a couple teaching moments. She says, love to have Rebecca's point of view. Yeah. You know, nice to have, you know, we'll go with younger points of view.
And it is funny that the three people that remember it from when they were younger liked it best, I think. And even though Rebecca and I are different ages, we don't have neither of us have the nostalgia for it. And therefore we were just kind of like, it was okay.
Yeah. Well, it says Charlie missing the shot would have been today's ending. Yeah. It's exactly what they spoke about after the movie.
Yeah.
Chad is chiming in. Total Disney movie hasn't aged all that well, but the story can and will be refreshed and recycled ad nauseum. Okay? Let's face it, it's you know what's going to happen in a Disney sports movie. Okay. Next, going to talk about who would you cast now in the Emilio Estevez character. Okay. Who would be your lead? Okay. I'm gonna kind of start on this one. If it was 10 years ago, Leonardo DiCaprio. Okay.
No.
If it was 10 years ago. Okay?
No.
Okay. Yeah, because he's got that, he's got the suave hair, and he's Emilio Estevez was that popular back when he filmed this. So I think that 10 years ago, that's like before Django Unchained. He's in his late 20s, early 30s, and he's the guy can go from smarmy to reformed. Okay. Today, I really don't know. Okay. Today, I would argue there's a lot of things. Okay. Yeah. Sam, what's your thoughts?
It's got to be Joshua Jackson. Joshua Jackson.
And why?
So he's Charlie Conway in the original movie, and he became obviously famous through the Mighty Ducks series, but then became even more famous in a little show called Dawson's Creek that was kind of big when I was a late teenager and early in my college years. And he's Pacey Witter from that series. And then he actually has gone on to be in a regular in other television series. And so now he's in his, late 30s, early 40s. He's the perfect age. He can do smarmy really well because he did it in the later years of Dawson's Creek. He would be perfect. And then they can harken back to when he was on the team. So I don't know that he'll take the job because he's kind of a big deal. But I honestly think he would be perfect as the coach. Okay. Be amazing.
Kate, what's your thoughts?
This is really hard. This is really hard. I would either say The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, or I'm a big
fan
about
a Disney cliche.
I'm a big Matthew Perry fan he was Chandler in Friends. And I just think with some of his physical comedy but he can also play very, very serious. I think he would have brought a lot to that character. So that's me.
And jumping in here real quick, Chad, The Rock and Chad would have gone with Joey from Friends.
Oh.
Also would have been funny.
Okay. Rebecca, how about you? Who's the lead?
If it's not obvious, Leonardo DiCaprio, there's literally, I don't think, anything that he can't do. I would cast him now.
See, I'm not sure I'd go that far.
Oh, no. I would cast him now. I would cast him if he was 18. I would cast him. I saw him in What's Eating Gilbert Grapes, and that movie to me is volumes of what he can do. I went and actually saw the re-release of the 3D version of the Titanic in theaters with my mom. I'm hands down, I'm part of his environmental change program. There's nothing that Leonardo DiCaprio can't do at any age. He'd be perfect.
Okay. Pete,
you left me for last. Gosh, I'm sitting here trying to rack my brains, and I don't have a name because I think Joshua Jackson, to me, that's a great idea, because he would be maybe a little old on that. I mean, that's the thing I was trying to think, because Emilio Estevez was about 30 at the time, still a very young age. So I was trying to think of someone that would be in that age group right now, and for some reason my brain is not coming up. I'm always terrible at this. I don't have a good guess, but it looks like the new TV series is actually casting Emilio Estevez as the lead, so that's interesting.
Yeah. I'm wondering what people think about if they had a female lead as the coach. I think that would be a really nice twist on it as well. So to have a female hockey coach, frankly, they could do a show if they wanted to with an all girls or all women's hockey team. That would be a fun twist on it, and it would certainly work, today. That would be fun.
That is an interesting thought. Top of my head, Queen Latifah. Okay.
That is the last thing I expected you to say.
I wasn't expecting that either.
When you said all female, I went to Zoe Zandala, who plays Gamora.
She would be great.
I think she would be really good, and I'd like to see her not covered in makeup. So that would be great.
Yeah, she would be great.
So, pulling some of the comments here. Gina's again a Josh Jackson fan. Willie says Bradley Cooper.
That'd be good.
You can see that.
Yeah, I like him.
And Gina agreed with you 100% on that. Chad also mentioned Dean Cain. He was the Superman in was it Superman and Lois?
Lois and Clark.
Lois and Clark. Yeah. Okay. Well, it says he loves The Rock, represents the alma mater well, so he's a University of Miami person. Don't know that he can skate. No, but
I don't think Emilio Estevez could skate, because if you pay attention in the movie, we never see him actually skating, other than in like a long shot. They show him skating a couple times, so I'm not sure he could skate, because they particularly avoided showing him skate.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they taught him to skate a little bit, but probably not super well.
Yeah. He's going Tom Holland.
Too young.
He's a little young. Yeah.
If you really want to go into Disney cliches, Zac Efron.
Absolutely.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. I would watch that all day, every day.
He would do so well. He would do really well at that role.
Sam, your other half chimes in. No one's going with Justin Timberlake.
Oh,
that would be okay.
I could see that. Yeah. Lauren says Henry Cavill or Cavill.
Later Superman.
He'd be the Hawks coach, I think. he just seems too threatening to me to be, or too
dark.
I don't know about dark. I mean, because he is Superman, but he's very, very just like tall and tough and everything like that. Okay. So
he's very tall. It just made me laugh.
Emilio Estevez is not
big,
so.
But the Rock is not big, so.
I didn't say The Rock either. That wasn't me.
Sorry, continue.
Brian goes Kobe Smulders for female lead.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
Help me out. What's she in?
She's what's her face? How I Met Your Mother.
Okay, yeah. Oh,
and then she's in the Marvel movies as I forget the name of her character, but she's always with Samuel Jackson's character,
Okay.
and with
Maria something.
Yeah.
No,
I can see,
that's
okay.
the
Yeah,
name.
I can see that.
I can't think of her name.
He says, yes, Amy, Zac Efron is good and a former Disney kid. Yeah. Okay. And Ryan says Zachary Levi.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That would
I
be
could see
good
that
too.
as well.
Yep.
So now, as Kate said, 26th, there's a new Mighty Ducks series coming out. Okay. And the story behind it is basically, guys, the Ducks are the bad guys. The Mighty Ducks are the Hawks.
What's up with that?
what?
Ew! No quacks
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah. So, and then it's a mom is coming in and going to coach the new team. And Gordon Bombay drives the Zamboni at the rink they practice at.
Oh, funny. So he's probably more like the Hans character.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, guys, thoughts about how you could see Disney taking this?
Well, it's a series, so I think they're going to focus more on the kids as opposed to this series, which had 10 cliche kids and one that you kind of got to know. So I assume I assume it'll focus more on the kids than on the coach per se.
Okay.
That would be my thinking.
Yeah. I wonder if it'll be more like the High School Musical, the series, right? I wonder if it'll be more of instead of an overarching one story, it'll be lots of little stories, kind of to Peter's point. And I'm sure that there will be a ragtag team of kids who have to learn how to go from being the worst team to being at least decent. So I'm sure there'll be something in that storyline, but it'll be interesting to see, what kind of, I hope they'll have a diverse cast. This, the original actually had for its time quite a bit
Very
of a diverse cast, at least amongst the kids. Maybe we'll see, I'm hoping we'll get to catch up with Gordon Bombay and find out how he became a Zamboni driver. That sounds fun.
Yeah. And is he still together with Charlie's mom?
Right. And will Joshua Jackson, please make a cameo appearance? Or two.
Yeah. From what I've seen, I think it is going to be a diverse cast. We all know eventually they're going to become winners. And eventually either the Ducks are going to lose or the Ducks are going to have a change of heart. To me, that's what's going to happen. What I would love to see happen is them being successful without always winning.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see that, because that is a message that I don't think gets passed on enough to kids, is you don't have to be on the championship team to be successful at your sport.
Oh, I love
so
that.
I would love to see that happening. I don't think it will, but I would love to see that happening.
Yeah, I love that. That's so beautiful. I will be honest, I do not know what to expect. I didn't know that the Ducks were the bad guy, or are presented as the bad guys, as the Hawks. I think, to be honest, in 2020, I don't think you can get away with not having a diverse cast anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they didn't have a diverse cast, there would be an uproar, as there should be. I think that they're going to have a diverse cast. It will be very interesting to see how they spin it, and how Emilio Estevez is. I mean, his career has been phenomenal. So, and if they bring back any of the original kids, so it'll be interesting. We'll see.
I'm hoping that it has kind of a Little Rascals feel to it. That movie, I think, has a really diverse cast, and like Pete was saying, that it kind of dives into the kids' stories and their interpersonal relationships as well too. I do think it'll be more focused on obviously the new group of kids. I don't know if they will have a lot to do with the Ducks. I mean, it's in the title of the series, but I think it'll have both teams will be at the forefront rather than just the one. And I'm excited to see the relationship between the two coaches as well, with the female dominant. If there's going to be some mention of that type of social issue or whatnot, I think it would be really interesting to see them kind of tackle that with all the women in sports news going on recently this year as well. So I'm excited.
And to kind of piggyback on that, Rebecca, I will say I would love to see that happen.
Mhm.
It really depends on who the audience is. If the audience is the 12-year-olds who love the Mighty Ducks, I don't see them hitting it. If the audience is those and the parents, definitely see them diving into that.
Yeah.
So, Pete, what do you think might happen?
Yeah, I hope. I think it was Kate that said it. I hope that we see some. No, it was you. It was you. I hope we see some winning and some losing. Right. I mean, one of the things that kind of, I mean, they had to do it, but like, because it was the playoffs, but the Ducks went from being the worst team in the league in this movie to suddenly they won every game. And, you know, it's,
except when they had to forfeit.
Except when they had to forfeit. And it's like, it was basically like, and as you said, it was basically like they start winning. So therefore everything's great. And it would be nice to see the team build, but also see some adversity happen as the team's building. And I think you can do that more with a series. It's tough in a movie because you're trying to condense everything to 90 minutes. And here, even though it's a half-hour series, they don't even have to finish everything in one. I mean, they could have them lose the championship in the first season, right? And still, I always think that's a more interesting way to go, is to have the team nowadays, because it is such a cliche to win the big game that, you know, lose the big game in the first series and you know, in the first season, and then you got another season that they can learn from that. So yeah, that's, I think, I don't know. I'm actually interested to watch it. Being a half-hour format, you know, it's only probably 20 minutes an episode, so it'll be interesting to watch it.
Okay. See what, you know, crowd thinks. You know, Gina's excited for Lauren Graham as the mom.
She's always
definitely
good.
Mm-hmm. Brian's going to say goes into Cobra Kai, you know, flipping this franchise on its head, where they go from the bad guys to the good guys. Well, now it's the good guys have become the bad guys. So,
and back again.
Yeah. Wonder if the success of Cobra Kai led Disney to say, what kind of throwback can we do? Very possibly. Okay. Yeah. And Brian definitely agrees with you. You know, love that show. Okay, guys. So in how we're going to be rating these movies, in Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure, they do it by cups of pixie dust. Okay. A pixie dust is measured by a little teacup. Okay. How many pixie dust cups out of 5 would you rate this movie? Kate.
Okay, but are we rating it? Are we rating it based on 2021 standards, or are we rating it based on 1991 standards?
How would you rate the movie?
I would give it a 4. I love this movie, so I would give it a 4.
Okay. Rebecca?
3 seems too low, but 4 seems too high, because
3.5.
Yeah, because it's like right in the middle of like, okay, yeah, it's every quintessential Disney movie out there ever. But had I seen it in 1992 when it first came out, it probably would have been amazing to me. So I'm gonna say about 3.5.
Okay, Pete.
I'm gonna give it a 3 because while there's worse movies of this form out there, there's also a lot better ones. So I mean, someone mentioned earlier Cool Runnings, which we watched not too long ago, is in my view, a much better movie than this. So, you know, I would say 3.
Okay. So, 40-year-old me would give it a 3, but 12-year-old me would give it a 4. So I'm going with Rebecca and I'm giving it a 3.5.
Okay. I'm right in there. I'm 3.5 also is where I'm at. How I kind of gauge it is it a movie that I'm going to go seek out? Hey, let's put this on with my 12, 13-year-old son when there's so many other movies that are just like it? No. Is it, if it comes on, am I saying, no, I'm not absolutely not watching that? No. And the 3.5, to me, it pulls in the nostalgia while yet it's still, Disney has continued to improve their sports movies. So,
well, I'm going to be turning on D2 and the Mighty Ducks 3. I would in the next couple of weeks, so maybe I should have given it a higher rating.
Yeah. Do D2. Don't do 3.
I've heard 3 is really bad.
Do 3. Yeah,
I saw it, but it was many years ago, and I don't remember it being very good, but I feel like I have to give it another try now.
They are headed off to be the junior varsity team at a prep school.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That was I was about to say Charlie Sheen. Wrong Sheen boy.
Yeah.
Emilio Estevez, the only reason he did that movie was he wanted to direct a movie, and so he got the funding to direct his movie, and he pretty much phoned in D3, and he didn't really want to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember D2, and I remember that one being good.
Yeah. Yeah. Vicky says, she'd give it a 3.1. Okay, that's fair. Chad goes, D3 was 1 cup of pixie dust when it aired. I would have gone a half. I mean, it is when I see it. No, not a chance. Okay?
See,
Gina's,
I would have said it, like, if I was just hanging out, I would totally put in The Sandlot and I would watch The Sandlot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, Derrick, you nailed it when you said if it was on TV, I would not change the channel. I would watch it, but I don't know if I would actively go seek it out like I would Cool Runnings or The Sandlot.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I agree.
And yeah, Chad, thank you for saving me 90 minutes I can't get back. Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about D3 there. Yeah, guys, just don't. Yeah. So guys, final thoughts on Mighty Ducks.
I loved it.
Okay. Loved it. Rebecca, I know you were kind of meh.
I think everyone's hit it on the head tonight. Just, it was okay. It was probably much better back in 1992. I'm probably not going to watch it again, or the other ones that came after it. But I may watch the series if we have to do something for Plus Platoon. So
that's fair.
I would expect the series to be better. But yeah, I would. Again, if you have kids of the right age, if the kids that like sports and they're, as I say, 7 to 12 or so, it's not going to be a total waste of your time. But if you're an adult flicking through Disney Plus, I would. There's a lot of other sports movies that I would pick first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would add that my 7-year-old has never been ice skating. And while we were watching this movie, I asked him, Nathan, would you go ice skating? And he totally said yes. So I'm calling that a win. And for that reason alone, I would watch this movie again and enjoy it.
Okay. Very fair. So, guys, that's going to do it for our show tonight. Want to thank our sponsors, DVCRentalStore.com. DVC Resale Market. One more time. I've had personal experience with them. Great process. That's how we got our DVC points that we're just waiting on to show up. And that's all on Disney. So the DVC Resale Market was great. If you are so inclined, visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/mydvcpoints. And we will be heading over to Discord for a after show and the Chad's Hard Ticket event. So with that, please join us on Wednesday at 9 Eastern, where we're going to be talking about preview of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So with that, thank you, everyone, and good night. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.